Hey everybody, John here from Incomesh.com. Welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial, I want to walk through the basics of setting up a lead capture form on your website using Groundhog as your CRM, your customer relationship manager. And I've done a lot of content on Groundhog already, but I want to keep promoting it because I really do believe this is a fantastic tool. If you want to be on a budget without sacrificing functionality on your website, Groundhog is a place I'd recommend you take a look at. All right, let's go ahead and dive into today's tutorial. Okay, so unlike some of my other videos where we've done just dummy websites, this is going to be starting to build out an agency website for myself. I've been using everything on the same brand of Incomesh.com, but I want to start bringing in this second brand for some of my active work with clients. So if you'd like some help at the end of this video, if you want some help implementing Groundhog or doing some of the other things I teach about on this channel, go ahead and click on the link below to set up some time to talk with me, and I'll be using it on this ConvertDash brand. Okay, so here we are in Groundhog, and we've just installed the free plugin. We haven't done a whole lot of work with it yet, and the goal of this video is to set up a lead capture form. So what do we need for a lead capture form? Well, we need to actually create the form as well as the process that the user goes through to give us their information and all that good stuff. There's two ways to do this on WordPress with Groundhog right now that I'd recommend. One is through the built-in Groundhog forms, which I'll show you in this video. The other one is using Elementor's integration with Groundhog, where you can just use an Elementor form and hook it in with Groundhog. I'll show you both of those in this video here. Okay, so to do it the first way, which is kind of the default way, this will work for any page builder, for any type of WordPress website, even with just Gutenberg as your page builder. So what we can do is go to Groundhog and come down here to funnels. And this is going to be all the templates that you can use to basically take your customer on a journey. So it depends on what you want to do here. What are you trying to accomplish? So for us, we just want to have a little welcome email that goes out for people who subscribe to our newsletter. Okay. So what we're going to do is click on Funnel, Add New. And now we have the option of a welcome series, a hype series, all sorts of cool stuff. For this, let's go ahead and welcome new subscribers into our community. We'll start building. And okay, so what happens here is it first gives you a form that's going to, by default, show up wherever you place that short code. And you can also add other ways to enter into this funnel. So we're building out a funnel, an actual customer journey here that can have multiple entry points into it. So what we're looking at here, these blue guys on the top, this blue ribbon, are these benchmarks. And the green ones are actions. And the difference between these are benchmarks are, they can help people enter into a funnel. They can also move people through a funnel because they're kind of like checkpoints within a race, right? Like you kind of move up and back to them. So right now, by default, when you bring in this new subscriber welcome, I'm going to rename this as well to welcome to ConvertDash. By default, it's going to give you a subscriber filling out a form, or if somebody subscribes by creating an account on your website. These are two different benchmarks that can bring people into this funnel. And so this is great because I would also like to have people sign up on my website. So this is going to serve both of those purposes. But what I want to do is actually create the subscription form box that they'll be able to do on a specific page to have them come in here. So let's take a look at how this preview looks already. So it's asking for first name, last name, and email. I don't like to ask for last name. I feel that's not necessary information. So what I'm going to do is take a look here. So we have a row, a column where it's asking for first and last name, and then a second row that's asking simply for the email. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and remove this column structure here. And this I'm not a big fan that we have to do all this kind of work with actual code. I'm sure they're going to fix that when the next version of Groundhog comes out. But what I'm going to do is take that first name and I'm going to take it out of those columns and I'm just going to delete these columns. So now what I have instead is simply row 1. Let me just try to add some spaces in here. Row 1 has this first name required and the placeholder and the email below with a submit. Let's call this sign up instead. And I'll go ahead and preview this. Oops, let me hit update first. And let me preview this form now. Good. Now I have first name and email with a sign up button below. So obviously it's not very stylish right here, and that's going to change when we put it on the front end of our website. But now at least we have a sign up form. Now the way this works is they sign up their information and then you take them to a specific thank you page. So I'm going to handle all of this using Cartflows, and we'll do that in just a second here. So I'm going to leave this kind of as it is, but we're going to change that in a moment. We're actually going to make this kind of into a funnel as well on the front end of the website too. So what happens when they fulfill this form, we're going to give them a tag, and we'll call this a general mailing list. That's fine. That works for me. And we'll also send them a confirmation email to make sure they gave us a real email address, and that'll improve our open rates. It'll decrease our cost because we'll be sending less emails to people who don't actually want to receive information from us and all that good stuff. It will also make your list smaller because if somebody puts in a dummy email address, they won't confirm that email address, which seems like a bad thing because you have a smaller list, but that's a vanity metric, right? Like the metric you want is people actually opening, reading, and consuming your content. So let's go ahead and edit this confirmation email. Okay, so we've clicked in the email editor, and this is a very clean, very minimalistic email editor here, which I'm a fan of. I don't think that you need to have all the bells and whistles in your emails. So we'll say, instead of please confirm your email, we'll say, give a nice little welcome here, and welcome to the family. I like that as the pre-header. Since I am asking for the first name, I can add that personalization in here. Hey, first, welcome to subscribing. I know you're going to love it here. Okay, kind of read through what's going on here, and that looks nice. I like it. I'm not going to make any changes to it. I'm going to click over here to say that this email is ready to go. You can also send a test email by selecting a specific email address you'd like to test. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to my little info@convert-.com is an email I'm setting up for this account. And also, you want to make sure you check which from user you want to send this email from. Because I'm actually logged in as my Incomesh account, it's going to default from that account. But you want to make sure you're sending emails from the same domain as the website itself. So it's because this is on a convert-.com, I really want to send this as info@convert-.com. That's going to make the most sense. And I'll go ahead and hit update to send that test email. Okay, so I've opened this up in my mail app, and it shows, thank you for subscribing. This is all the email stuff here. And you can also click the confirm button, which I don't think is going to go anywhere yet. It might take us to just a default blank page. Let's check this out. Okay, so it sends us to the confirmed page. We probably should clean this up a little bit as we go through this process together. Okay, so this email is good to go. I'm going to go ahead and close this editor. And now we're going to apply the tag. We're going to send the confirmation email. And then what's cool about Groundhog is on these funnels, they kind of have that pre-built where they're going to bother you a little bit until you confirm your email address. So you're just going to wait a day, and it'll send another confirmation request, which we can edit this again real fast. And it's just a very polite reminder, hey, still want to join? And I'm going to keep this as it is, and it's going to send from convert- as well. And this will be skipped, and I'll show you how they're going to do this. Once they subscribe, it's going to skip all these steps. And it does that a couple ways. One is if the email is already confirmed, if the email address is already confirmed from a previous sign-up or a previous freebie, you can skip this, which is a good idea. And we'll do that as well here. But it will also skip all these steps once they've actually clicked on the email confirmation link inside. So once their email address is confirmed, if they confirm it immediately after signing up, which is most likely, then it's going to skip over this wait. It's going to skip over that additional request, and it's going to come in here. And then finally, it will go to the welcome email. And let's edit this email one last time. This is going to be what's happened once they fully confirm. So you can see it has a nice little email address here. So I'm going to go and edit this real fast. Okay, so I'm starting this one off with just kind of giving a little bit about me and the business, as well as clicking below to set up a discovery call, which I'll set that up in a different tutorial as well on this channel. So I'll make sure I send this from info@convert-.com as well, and I'll update this entire step. Okay, so now we're good to go. We have the back end of the funnel set up where this is what's going to happen every time somebody submits this form. So what we really need to do is go ahead and add this form somewhere on a page. So let's do that. And instead of just putting it on a page, what I want to do is actually embed this into a flow so I can also see my conversion rate and I can see how easily, how things are improving over time. So I'm going to come to plugins and add new. And I'm going to add one of my favorite plugins, Cartflows, just by searching for Cartflows, and I'll install this now. I'll activate the flow. And now I'll come here to Cartflows and I'll go to flows. And I'm going to make this a very simple flow. I'm not going to import one of the flows I have in existence already. I'll create my own because on this website, I want to keep my branding very similar, very structured, and I'm using one of the template packs to help me do that from Elementor Pro. So I'm creating a new flow, and I'll just call this sign up for discovery call, and I'll update this. Alrighty, so the next thing I want to do is come into, let's see, so I want to look at this. I don't need any checkouts or any thank you pages at this point because this is not going to be a sales funnel. This is simply trying to get some interest for this new business. So I'm gonna add a new step, and this is going to be basically my thank you page, but I'm gonna make this a blank landing page, and I'll show you why I'm doing this. Essentially, I don't need any of the WooCommerce functionality, so all the pages I'm using here are simply landing pages. They're simply pretty looking pages that I'll be able to use for my purposes. All right, so I have the structure. It's just going to be an opt-in and a thank you page is all I'm going to use for this funnel. I'm going to come in to this thank you page first. I always like to start from the end and work my way backwards. I'll call this thanks for signing up. Hit OK. And I'll also call this discovery. Thank you for signing up. I'll change my default to the page builder template on the post attributes down here, and that'll give me a nice blank canvas to work on. Alrighty, so now I'm going to edit this page with Elementor, and I'll pull in one of the template pages I'm working with for this this website. Alright, looks good. Let's come here to my folder, and really any one of these will do because this is going to be a very simple simple page. So I'll use this services page, I think it is. Insert this into my template. And here we go. So I'm just going to change this to being basically a thank you page. Okay, so I'll change the text to thanks for signing up. Let me get rid of this spot here. Let me give them a little bit of heads up. Oof. So I'm going to change a little bit of this around real fast. I'll make this an icon box to make things easier for myself. I'll copy the style of this one and paste the style so it looks similar. Styling looks good. And let me do a quick little 3 boxes for confirm your email, click on the link, and schedule a call. Alrighty, so I've spent a little bit of time to update my little 3 boxes here. Check your email, click the link, and schedule a discovery call. Let's just do some final little cleanup here, where we don't need that much top padding. So we'll take the margin off the top here. And again here. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. So I'll get rid of the rest on this page here and just clean everything up real quick. All right, and that will work for our thank you page. Let's also get rid of this button here. Very good. So now we have our thank you page. We'll come back into the flow. We'll come back here and go to our sales page, which is where we're going to embed the Groundhog button. We'll call this one discovery page, discovery call. And we'll give it a permalink here. So sign up for discovery. Again, we'll make this a template for page builders, and I'll hit update. And let's edit this with Elementor as well. We'll come back in very similarly. We're going to pull up our templates here, and let's think of which is going to look best for this purpose here. Probably a home page. We'll pull this guy up. And what I want to do, I want to get a little bit fancy here. I'm going to make this be a pop-up button that's going to embed the Groundhog form into schedule. So let's design this real fast. I'll come right back once we're all designed. Okay, so I've added a little bit of content to this page here. I'll update some images in a moment, but that'll be enough for this tutorial here. I'm going to remove this button since that's not what we want to do. And what I need to do next is actually create that pop-up that's going to come up when they click the Schedule Discovery button. So I'll update this guy here. Let's come back in to Elementor Templates and Pop-ups. Let's make one quick pop-up. So I'll say Add New. We'll call this one Discovery Schedule. We'll create this template. And I'll go ahead and use the agency. Keep everything on brand for this website. Let's have a chat, learn how we help. You know what? I'll keep this copy as it is right here. What I'm going to do though is get rid of this form here. And instead, I'm going to come over here and see there actually are 2 different ways, even within Elementor, to add Groundhog forms in. So I can just drag and drop this Groundhog form right below, and you can find the one that we're looking for here. Let's make sure I've saved this guy here, make him active, update. I'm looking for the subscriber form filled. So I'm going to come back to my pop-ups. Let me just save it and refresh to make sure that I can pull this guy up. Okay, so now if I look at my form, I should be able to select the subscriber form filled. Probably a good idea to name this something a bit more intuitive for the funnel itself. And you can see now we have our form that looks a little bit weird. So let's go ahead and publish this and see how it looks on the front end. So I'm not going to have this show up anywhere. This is going to be shown just by a pop-up itself. Okay, so it says the pop-up is live. What we're going to do is come back to our landing page. And for this Schedule Discovery button, let's remove the link that it already has and instead call up a pop-up. Call up a pop-up. So if I click dynamic and choose pop-up, it'll ask me which pop-up I want, and I should be able to say discovery schedule, which is my template, and I'll go ahead and hit update. I'm also going to copy this button and bring him down here as well, since I have a very similar. Here we go. And I do like this color scheme better, so I'm just going to copy this guy and paste the styles here. See how easy that is to totally customize a button and move it around? But the pop-up should still call up correctly. Okay, we're almost ready to test this. I know it takes a little bit, but we're going back and forth. We're building everything from scratch, which is really cool looking. And the last thing I want to do before we test is let me come back to the dashboard. I'm going to come back to the flow, and I want to grab the URL of this thank you page. I'll copy link address, and I'll come back into the actual funnel, which this is the thank you page that people want to go to once they have signed up for my freebie. So instead of using the Cartflows next step functionality, we're just going to link them using this form here. So I should be able to hit update, and I think we're ready to test. So I'll come here to open this up. I'll open it in an incognito window so we can see how it's really going to look for non-admins. And so here's my landing page. Looks good. I can schedule a discovery call. And now you can see the styling is not the best with Groundhog. You know, it looks functional. I wouldn't really call it beautiful though, if I'm being honest. But let's see if it works. So I'll sign up. I'll click the sign up button. And it takes me to the thank you page. And what's more important for me to check out here is if I come into this funnel, welcome to ConvertDash is one I just created. I have an active contact already. I'll click here. And I will see that Income Mesh, who I signed up with, is already here in the funnel. And if I come back to the funnel once again, and I click in, I can actually see the data of what's going through. So I'll click over to reporting view, and you can see he submitted the form. And next, he's going to go through this process of getting into my email list and all that process. So the last thing I want to do in this video, I don't want to leave you guys hanging here, is what if I'm not happy with how that looks? Because I'm honestly not that happy with how all that looks. Let's come here to our page once again. So here's our funnel in Groundhog. What I also want to do is allow this to be triggered when a tag is applied. And I'll show you why we're going to do that. Let me just put this down here. So this is when, let's say, discovery call. We're going to create a tag called discovery call. And let's do that real fast. And what we're doing here, while this is loading up, is we're going to give us the ability to introduce people into this funnel multiple different ways, whether they get a tag added, whether they become a subscriber, or if they fill in the specific form field. So I'll update this. And because I have this tag as an entry point in as well, I have now opened up a new possibility where if I come back into the sign up flow, let me just view this guy. And I want to edit the pop-up real fast. Okay, so now I have the ability. Let's just go ahead and start this over from scratch. Let me get rid of it, pull up the exact same thing again, insert it. So now this is a nicer styling, right? So Groundhog has given us the default ability. Let me remove the phone and full name, that's fine. In actions after submit, they've given us the ability to actually integrate with Groundhog directly. So with Groundhog, I can then decide which tag I want to be added when they submit this form, which it already has pre-selected the discovery call feature here, which is fantastic. So we'll hit update here. Again, we don't need any specific targeting rules. And now we have exactly what I want. I'm going to exit to dashboard. And let's go and test that one more time. So I'll come back to my flow. And let's once again go through this in an incognito, where when I click this guy, boom. Now it looks perfectly on brand. It looks great. I'll call this Mesh 2. And I'll sign up with this email address and I'll hit send. Everything seems to be working exactly like I need it to. And there you go. Everything else is going to follow exactly the same way. So you've got a lot of different options for collecting leads using Groundhog directly on your website. I've chosen to use Cartflows in this example because I'll be able to get all the analytics and eventually be able to do split tests with Cartflows to be able to improve those conversions over time. I know this was supposed to be a very basic tutorial, but we kind of covered a lot in this one. If you enjoyed this and you want to get more like this, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the like button below this video. And if you want to set up some time with me, I'll also add a link in the description below to see if you want to work with this upcoming agency with ConvertDash. All right, I'm John from IncomeMesh.com. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.